Hi everyone, and welcome back. This is Michelle from Country Morning Creations, and I wanted to do a flip through. I forgot to do one of my January traveler's notebook before I started writing in it, and I thought, you know what, this is a great opportunity to explain how I journal because I'm discovering I'm kind of weird. I actually like to journal in the morning. So I'll go a little bit more into that in a little bit. You may have in my past videos seen this. This is my folio that I use, and I made this using a Nick the Booksmith course. I will of course post that link down below for her Teachable. So this was a folio. It has a place for pens and lots of pockets. And then I did a whole nother video also on how I made this. This is my planner that I keep in here. And then there's room for another journal. And the way I'm using it this year is I'm making a new journal for every month. So I'm only using one journal a month. And the big reason I did that was because thinking about filling one of those big thick journals really frightened me. And I thought there's no way I could do that. But I could do a month at a time, a day at a time. And that was why I did it this way. So I'm going to put this aside and let's take a look through here. This, I keep it really simple because this is primarily for my writing journal. This is Tim Holtz cardstock, which I think makes a great soft cover. It's kind of squishy and it is, it just works really well for making these traveler's size notebooks. Now I make mine a little bit bigger than what a typical traveler's notebook would be because I hate wasting paper, so I do go ahead and make mine 8.5 this way, and then they're a little bit smaller this way. This is also from Nick the Booksmith, Hope is the Thing with Feathers, and I thought that was great because I had the birds on the cover. This is cardstock, and I have a really cool corner punch, and I just cut that out. This is also Nick the Booksmith. I found these on her Flickr account. She has a great Flickr account with lots of freebies on it. And she has a set of these that are all the months. It was actually for a bill paying course that she has on YouTube. But I loved them. And so what I've been doing, and I will probably do this for this year, is use this to kind of make a book plate out of it. Then on the inside, I did put a little pocket. I actually didn't have this made by January 1st. I think I made it on January 1st or maybe January 2nd. So what I did was, this is actually my January 1st entry, and I just grabbed a piece of coffee dyed paper. Intent is my word for this year. I did that for the first time last year. It was a lot of fun, and it really helped me keep focused for the year. And then on this page, I just wrote areas of focus for 2019. I've actually challenged myself to make 52 journals. And this is kind of a semi-naked or mostly naked journal, as they're called, because I don't have an ephemera in it, really. I just put a bunch of pages in it and kept it very simple. I did do some sewing. I love the look of sewing, so I sewed around this pocket, and I sewed some lace onto that page. Actually, it's sewn onto this page. And you can see I use about one page per day. I have some flips in here. This was a happy mistake that I made. I accidentally started punching this. I wanted to do the roses pattern along the edge, and I punched it a little bit wrong, and that's okay. I'm happy that I have it. Some Edith Holden. So I put some things that I really love in here, and you can see that I definitely do about a page a day. This is some vintage French ephemera that I have, and this is from, oh, hang on a second. Let me see if I can remember who this is from. That is actually from, let me see if I can grab it, Beloved Society. She has a great Etsy shop, and she has a lot of Bible studies, and I loved how this washi tape went really well with this. So I'd actually left this blank, this little flip here blank, so that I could fill it in later, and that was what I chose to do. I do always put little titles at the top with the date. I had to have my tracing paper, my dyed tracing paper, so I made a pocket out of that. I don't have anything in it yet, so I may do that sometime. These are planner stickers that I have. This was a little bit of Tim Holtz that I sewed down. This is from his wallpaper collection. And I'll talk a little bit more about this in a little bit. So I still have the rest of this to fill up. I sewed some more lace here. This is another Tim Holtz piece. I believe this is from his memorandum papers. But this is scrap paper I was using up. This is what I was actually trying to do with that other flip. This is the Paper Studio edge punch, which I love. And then more ephemera, and so I've kept it really pretty blank. So this is what I was talking about. I like to leave some of these flips blank, and I'll go back and decorate them once I fill in this page. But I'm not one who really does like art journaling in my journals. I just kind of keep it blank. And so here is more lace that I had, and then in the back I glued in another pocket. So I sew these around and then glue these pockets in later. I want to go back to this page. Now, one of the things that makes me really weird about how I journal is I actually journal in the morning, not in the evening. And I use my journal kind of as a planner, but not so much in the to-do list kind of planner where I fill out a week at a time or even a day at a time. I do just kind of planning, and it's a thought process. So I'm literally just writing out my thought processes. And I don't know that this is the right way to use a journal, but this is how I use a journal. And I'd like to encourage you to say there is no right way to use a journal. However you want to do it, you may do journaling daily, you may do art journals, you may make collages, you may do drawings, you may practice your hand lettering. There's all kinds of ways to use these journals. One of the things I want to do is get a little printer that prints out little pictures, and I'm going to start putting pictures in my journals to record things. But the reason I journal in the morning is because I have read a variety of different self-help books and inspirational books that talk about how we as humans need time to wake up in the morning. So my morning routine, I get up in the morning, I make coffee in my coffee pot, and I have a little place that I have set aside where I curl up in a beautiful comfy chair, and I start my morning with my coffee, and I do a daily Bible study. I read my Bible a little bit, and then I do my journaling, which is to help me think about it. So yes, I set aside about a half an hour every morning, and what I've found is I'm not rushed, I'm not exhausted when I get to work or get on with my day. I am a school teacher, so I do work full-time as well as making journals. And I just love having that morning routine, and it is so worth getting up a little bit early and going to bed a little bit early so I have that extra half an hour to really wake up. And this really helps me to focus my day. That is the biggest reason why I journal in the morning. And then sometimes I start thinking of to-do lists. So this is some of my to-dos. These are some of the upcoming videos I want to make and get those posted here. Things like how I make my mini flowers, how to use my crocodile and my Sizzix, because I got both of those for Christmas. Using the Sizzix for both cutting and embossing. I use Canva for making digital kits and digital stamping and things of that nature. So I want to do a couple of videos on that. And then I'm going to make something called Field Notes, which will be a little thing that I can carry around to keep a running to-do list. I'm discovering that I have a to-do list at school and a to-do list at home, and I think of things to do for home when I'm at school, and I think of things to do at school when I'm at home. And so if I just keep something with me at all times, then I'll just have a little thing that I can carry around and do that. So I am going to get a video up about how to make that. So I hope you've enjoyed looking at my Traveler's Notebook. I will be posting one every month. My goal is to use up my absolute favorite Tim Holtz cardstock is the Wallflower cardstock. So I will be using the Tim Holtz Wallflower cardstock, at least at this time, for all 12 of these. But you know what? I might change my mind and use some Prima or a different cardstock from Tim Holtz. We'll see how it feels. I'm just going to do a new one every month. And there'll be a real quick flip through because these are mostly naked. I do some sewing, I do some lace, I do some paper, but mostly I keep them pretty simple. So I hope you'll come back the next time I post my February one and take a look at that. I hope that not only have I encouraged you to be creative today, but I've encouraged you to try journaling as well. Have a great day.